Well, good evening, and it's a good opportunity to be part of World Organization and Students, World Organization of Students and Youth Forum, and to share my thoughts on um, what we have been going through in the past 3.5 4 months. So let me start sharing with how things have been happening. Last year till December end, all of us were in our own dreamlands, making plans for what we should be doing in 2020, and looking at creating a lot of new things for us, and setting our goals and whatnot. We were all prepared to do a lot of things. But suddenly in December 31st, China announced that there were a kind of virus, and it was killing people and affecting a lot of people. So this kind of started, and we were all still fine. In the world, people were still happy, and normal routine was happening, because we were all thinking that something is happening in China, and it's fine for us. Then slowly it started spreading. It started spreading in first in South Korea, Thailand, and US. Then the Europe started. Then slowly, yes, in January end, India also had its first case. So if you look at globally, more than 60 lakh people have been impacted with the COVID directly. Though there are cases where 27 lakh people have been recovered by it, and more than 3.7 lakh people have died, lost their lives because of COVID. Uh, the world is going on, and what we need to look at is how this whole thing emerged. Um, Till March 22nd, though there were positive cases in India in hundreds, and there were some 78 deaths that had happened in India, we were still living in our own um, normal lives, and it was going on fine. But suddenly, once the lockdown was imposed, the one-day Janata curfew came into place, then we realized there must be something wrong. Something is happening. Something is affecting me. And how do I look into that? Then 25th onwards, March 25th onwards, the first lockdown started. Then the total country has been in a lockdown scenario. Now we need to also understand the challenges the country started facing when suddenly in few hours it was declared from tomorrow there is going to be lockdown, and there will be no trains, and there will be no movement, and you have to stay at home, don't go to office, don't go anywhere, don't come out. Now this kind of a thing brought in a lot of reaction from the people. See, suddenly if somebody asks you to stop your normal life and then get into a restrictive mode, the mind doesn't accept. But then you need to look at how people reacted in India. People started looking at it from a different perspective. Suddenly there were thousands and thousands and lakhs of people who were not in their hometown. I'm not talking about migrated labor, I'm talking about people who were on travel, who were visiting either for business or for their personal lives, that they were visiting friends, relatives, and suddenly they were stranded at the place where they went to visit. Now, there was a lot of chaos. People didn't know whether shops will be open, markets will be open, whether I'll get my things which I can procure for my daily needs. If I have to stay at home, what is that I need to do? What is my office going to decide? Whether I am going to be called in, or should I work from home? And if I have to work from home, what do I do? So lot of these kind of queries and questions started emerging in our minds. Uh, every one of us went through I would say, a kind of trauma within ourselves, because it was all of a sudden told that we are supposed to stop working the way we were working earlier. Now, this also created a lot of issues for the district administration, the state administration. As a country, there were a lot of things that got into a mode of a lockdown, and nobody knew what were the steps to go about. The police started being there, and this is not a time where it's a curfew kind of a thing because of some issues or some agitations. This is a curfew which is for the good of the people. So police were also not very clear how they have to respond to people not following, and how to make people to stay at home. Health officials were having their own challenges to look at how do they tackle the scenario. If you ask me, they were not geared up. There were no PPE material available, masks were not there, lot of things were not in place because nobody expected a national lockdown to happen on 25th of March. There was no time. From March 25th to May end, if you look at it's 65 days, and the country has completely turned around. We have started looking at our own lives in a very, very different manner. Today, we can all sit and analyze what went right, what went wrong, but on 25th of March, when the country decided that it has to get into a lockdown to save people's life, then it was not very clear. So, the whole country, the whole system was not prepared. Though the governmental system wanted minimum problem and challenges for the people, but still it threw up a lot of things. Now, if you look at one thing that started supporting was the civil society. 25th the lockdown was started, 27th onwards people started serving food. Cooked food, lakhs to lakhs, cooked food across India was served. Sanitizers were distributed, masks were prepared and they were trying to give it. People were told to take social distancing seriously. But when suddenly the whole mechanism stopped, and there is another mechanism that took over, the community kitchen started, the people in the home started, who had things, they started preparing it and started serving to the people nearby. So if you really look at, when one plug came out, there was another plug that got into the system and started supporting. Now, this has happened only in our country, I would say, because when we look at the pandemic across the globe, many countries, when they went into lockdown, they went into a lot of problems because the community did not react as fast as we were able to react in our country. Now, who are these people? How did these organizations start reacting so fast? Where was any information given to them in advance that there is going to be a lockdown? Or did somebody talk to them and say that we need your help and support? Actually, nothing like that happened. Everybody wanted, it was very spontaneous. People understood there is going to be big challenge, and this challenge is going to throw a lot of issues out. And there were people on roads who were in hunger, and you need to feed them. This entire system started looking at how can I do something, how can I prepare something and I can serve. There were volunteers who said, no, you community kitchens were there up and we will go and serve it. The district administration, though they announced a lot of things, but for them to channelize and give the food packets and ration took almost 7 to 8 days from the time of lockdown. But from the second day, you could see civil society organizations, individuals started supporting this entire crisis. Now, why, how does this happen? Is all these people who started working were, according to me, are the social leaders. It is not that one government as the leadership. It's a people leadership. It's a people movement which is making it happen. Even today, after 65 days, if a country like us are sustaining the lockdown in bits and pieces, and if this country is looking at so less cases prevailing in India, that is because the community has taken ownership. Now, if you look at initially the COVID positive cases were more in cities and less in towns and villages. But the moment the lockdown was announced, people started understanding the need to stay at home and to have a kind of a boundary wall defined. There are stories and there are cases where the youth in the village started working in their own village to create a barrier for not allowing people to go out of the village and not allowing anybody from outside of the village to get in. This started sometime in March itself. There were communities, there were a few communities where this was strictly enforced, and even today those places are not having cases. They didn't stop activity because the boundary was the entire village. Nobody was allowed inside the village, nobody was allowed from outside to get in. So, but the activities within village started happening because there was no problem of the virus to spread. So, this kind of a leadership that happened is because of few individuals in the village. Now, look at again when the migration workers started moving. Suddenly there was a rush of movement because they were kindled to go around and leave their place. One, yes, definitely there was a fear psyche. A lot of people felt, if I am going to die, let me die with people I know rather than I die in a place where I am unknown. This is what many people expressed when we spoke to the migrant labor. When my and we had different volunteers who spoke to them. Now, also look at what is that the migrant workers when they were going, who are the people who again supported. On the road when they were walking, there were a lot of small groups which started serving them water, serving them juice, giving them buns, giving them some cooked rice. Lot of these things were happening on a continuous basis for at least more than 40 days. There are bigger organizations, definitely. There are bigger organizations like ISKCON, Akshaya Patra, RSS and Seva Bharati and lot of other organizations which have done it in a very organized way. Yes, again, all those organizations took those leadership because, see, nobody was prepared. But when there were crises, these people just acted. They acted with compassion, they acted with prop. And also look at the another thing, how many of these organization volunteers have been tested COVID positive? Very few. There are cases, I am not saying there are no cases, there are cases, but very few cases. The reason is when these people started working, there is a discipline within themselves. They understood the norms of social distancing, the norms of being hygienic, the norms of protecting themselves as well as protecting others. Now, in small units, these people started working. So, every unit, in every place, every unit had a leader emerged. There was no role defined. Many people had not even done these kind of things before this pandemic. But suddenly they realized that I have been pushed into it in a given situation. I am the leader, and I started working on it. Nobody had real thought about assigning responsibilities, having an induction program, and then telling them this is your role and now you go out and play the role. There was no time. People started working on it. People started acting. So this is what has saved this country, because people started taking over. Common people. I come across a case where a poor man who used to earn his daily wages goes to bank and says he didn't even understand what was this fund that was announced, but he said there was some care. And then the bank people said, are you talking about PM Care Fund? Then he said, maybe, I do not know, but what I want to do is, I have this 12 rupees in my pocket, I want to share it. And he gives that and he says, this is my contribution, if it can be accepted, please send it. When the bank people questioned him, see, you have only 12 rupees left with you, what will you do tomorrow? He said, tomorrow I will earn, I am fine, don't worry, but today I have this much, I want to give it. See, this is the kind of people who started giving back. There were there were many women in the families who started cooking at home, serving people in their localities. I stay in Delhi and I see every day there are at least some 7-8 people who feed the street dogs on a regular 3 to 4 times every day in my street. Now, this again, nobody entrusted these dogs and things to them. They started feeling it is their responsibility. When people started seeing the challenges, people started realizing that this is my responsibility and I need to do something. Now, if you look at many governmental actions, what Indian government has, government of India has taken, this has been applauded globally. But what is making those actions sturdy and safe for people is the leadership of these COVID warriors who have been working silently 24/7, looking at how with no expectation, giving back whatever they could. There are thousands and thousands of cases where we could see that people willing to serve. When volunteers were called for, I know many organizations received more number of volunteers, and the organizations started looking at what do we do with them. How do we assign them so much of work? So this is the kind of thing that was also happening, because there was that inner feeling of the people to contribute, that I need to be part of this crisis, I need to be supporting this crisis in a positive way. So the whole thing started off with how I can contribute. Now, one is how these people have been addressed. Now, when buses started, when the trains were started for the migrant labor, see, transporting 6 crore people from one place to another place is not a joke. And that is what is happening, and people are also afraid, so there is going to be chaos. But in many places, when these people were traveling, there were people, organizations and people who went and gave food packet, water packet, fruit to all of these laborers going on train. Look at in hospitals, how many of the hospital staff was prepared for this kind of a scenario. The police were not prepared, the medical staff were not prepared, the district administration is not prepared, but everybody is working as if there is a well designed plan and there is a sync and things are happening, falling in places. Now, on one hand you have the governmental system, on the other hand you have the people of this country who are being supporting these actions. This is one part of it. Now look at the other side. There were more than 400 million students suddenly had holidays. There were no schools. How to spend time? What to do? And then the whole online thing started. There were many children, I would say the elder children started creating classes for younger children, created drawing classes, some people started WhatsApp games, which became very popular. And many started looking at, during those games, things like our great epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, stories from that, everything started coming back into this. Now, all this again is not planned nationwide. In every family, every group, there is somebody who is taking that lead, that I will do something different. I am not going to do what I have been doing, but then I know in this time of crisis, I want to engage. And this question, this simple need that I want to engage had made a difference not only in their lives but in the lives of many people. You will have to understand that lots of people started looking at how do we innovate. There were industries which were not doing ventilators, they were manufacturing automobiles, but said, okay, there is a need of ventilator manufacturing, we will do ventilator, we will produce ventilators. Garment industries which had never done a PPE kit, they said that, okay, now there is a need, let us start doing it. So it is not the big or the small, but every module in our society started reacting to the need. And this is what I call leadership. It is not that leaders are to be labeled, it is not that leaders will be given positions, but leaders emerge during crisis. In a country like ours, majority of the time we find hereditary leadership is a thing which functions. But situational leadership is the thing that also comes out when there is a situation, when our situation demands. If you look at our history of our country, whenever there has been crisis, whether it is a small crisis limited to one geography or whether it is a big crisis limited to the entire country, people have emerged as leaders. The society has that capability to produce leaders who contribute. They don't plan. I mean, it is not planned. It just happens. See, whether it is floods that happened in West Bengal recently, or the COVID crisis which is going on across the country, you find many of these leaders emerging. Every family has somebody who is leading an initiative within the family, outside the family, within the community or outside the community. But overall, there are pieces of these people who actually look at how do you say that these are the people who are actually working towards bringing that kind of a solace that is required to the society, and also creating newer things for the post-COVID things. The lockdown has created a kind of feeling within everybody. Many of us would have introspected what was the kind of life I was leading, and what is the life I'm going to lead for in the near future. How is it going to affect my life? See, people who have their comforts taken care, or the people who will reflect on what kind of a life I have been leading. People for whom daily needs itself is an issue, those are the people who are going to look at their life differently. Now, many people who have migrated, who have gone back to their hometowns, home villages, we are not sure how many of them are going to come back to cities to take over their jobs. There are going to be issues which are more. If you look at, I'll just share one particular example of street food vendors. In a country like ours, we have more than 1 crore people whose livelihood is dependent on street food industry. Across India, there are so many people. Across India, there are so many street vendors, food vendors, for whom this is a clear stop of their livelihood. And these, believe me, these are the bottom of the pyramid entrepreneurs, because they are earning every pie without and also giving jobs without any formal support. No bank is supporting them, no governmental institution is supporting them, but they have been on roads earning their livelihood, supporting their families, and suddenly these people now are going to be businessless. One, during the lockdown period. Post the lockdown also, people are not going to be very actively going and eating with the street food vendors. Eating out is still going to be a slow process which will take its time. And also, if you look at many of these labor, when they are not there in the cities, one section of population which is dependent on street vendors will not have that kind of a facility. So like this, if you look at, there are many challenges that is going to be thrown up. Post-COVID challenges, again there are people who have started initiatives like, how do we work? How do we work with this migrated laborers? There are a lot of skills available, so how do we work with them? How do we create things for their livelihood? And again, government is working on one side, but civil society, corporates, and also people individually are also looking at how they are also going to address these scenarios. So if you look at the whole thing, during crisis, especially in crisis like ours, we have been seeing a lot of leadership emerge. Whether it is a student of 10th standard or a 7th standard to a senior leadership at the country level. Also look at how India leadership is emerging globally also. Many countries are now wanting India's participation in global decisions. There are countries which are like countries like China, which are now instigating territorial issues, but at the same time there are country like India which is showing a clear leadership globally. People at the globe, the leadership at the globe is looking at Indian contribution, because we are the second most populated country in the globe, and if you look at we are 9th in terms of number of people affected with COVID. That means we have been handling scenarios. I know that there are a lot of challenges that has come which we need to deal with, but then if you look at it, we have been handling the situation well. So the globe is also is looking at how things are going to be useful for them, how the learnings of what is happening in India will be useful across. So post-COVID, there is going to be emergence of a newer era, and these people, whoever have shouldered the responsibility of supporting people in need during the crisis, these people will definitely emerge as leaders even during post-COVID. Because now if you look at companies, if you look at industry, everywhere they are looking for people who are resilient, who can come back fast. How do you think the whole system can reboot and restart? And for that, what kind of people are required? They require people who can who have been acting in crisis. So these people, whoever, in whichever capacity they have been working, when they go to their normal lives, workplace lives, these people will have an edge over others because they have proved their leadership without anybody telling them that you are a leader or this is the role you need to play. So when they go back to their normal lives, these people will definitely have an edge. They will have the empathy to understand what is going on in the minds of others. They will also know that the compassion with which they started working is what is going to give them a new kind of a maturity. So friends, I would only say that a crisis like COVID has brought out lot of grassroots level leaders in this country, from villages to towns to cities to national capital to if you on the geography side, if you look at people from a street vendor, a beggar in a country like ours, to somebody who is a CEO in a bigger organization, everywhere there is a kind of a churn out of leadership that has happened, and this is definitely going to change the way India will look ahead. So I thought I will share these things with you because many a times we always only listen to the negativism that comes out with any challenge. Our district administration has a lot of lacunas. We could have done this better, we could have done that better, but we need to, all of us should understand, it is like a power outage. Suddenly a switch is stopped off and the whole thing stops. So from there the district administration had to pick up everything and start working. The government has to work on that way. And similarly, if you look at the people with no training in things started taking over leadership, started working on things, started delivering things, and they have smoothened many wrinkles on the faces of people who were in need, and they have also brought smile on the people's face. So these are the people, I would say, who are emerged as leaders, and leaders with compassion. So I shall end my talk here, and if there are any queries or questions, I would be happy to take it up. But it's always wonderful to look at all those youngsters who have been contributing in this kind of crisis. And yeah, like I said, post-COVID challenges will also require a lot of support and innovation that has to come in. And definitely, yes, we will have lot many innovators and leaders who will emerge in this scenario and will contribute in the nation building activities, because this particular post-COVID era, everybody across the globe, there will be a change in scenario, change in many things, and I hope India will definitely emerge as one of the leaders in this entire crisis. So thank you all. Thank you for being part of this show, and I would again like to thank World Organization of Students and Youth for giving me a platform to share my thoughts. Thank you.